And then 9/11 hits, and then yeah. So tell me about impact of 9/11 in your life, and then what happened after that, and then you made it back to US, and what you did next.
Well, so basically, they had just done shut down the Hong Kong operation. I think the month or two before that, early summertime, June or July, and myself and a couple of buddies, we were out drinking that evening at the pub, and we headed back home, and we stopped at a pub on the way home just to
By
get
the way, that
a
was something I
nightcap.
found fun about Hong Kong is, or even Asian countries, but Hong Kong, I remember bars open late at night. It was always a
Oh,
fun
they don't
time.
close.
Yeah, it was
They
always
don't
a fun
close.
time.
They don't close. And
Yeah,
I'm like 28, 29, so.
you live in it. Yeah.
So anyway, we stopped for a nightcap, and we were sitting there, and we were watching the news about how this plane had run into one of the World Trade Centers, and we were watching it when the second one hit, and just pretty much blew our minds because that was all real time, and we were like, okay, there's no fucking way that's an accident. Like, first one maybe, second one no way. And then yeah, it was pretty shocking actually. We were just stunned. But anyway, I had purchased my ticket already to go home, and that was 9/11, and I think my ticket was for like 9/21 or something like that, and they shut down all the planes, and I had no idea whether I was going to fly or not, and I was in this really precarious situation, right? Everything I owned was going to still be in Hong Kong. I didn't have a job. The IT industry was totally destroyed. I was basically retreating to the Silicon Valley, and I was gonna couch surf on friends' couches for a while. And basically I just crossed my fingers like this, and my flight was the first one on Cathay Pacific to actually fly to San Francisco. All the others up until that date, like it was like the 21st of September, were canceled for like a week and a half. And I just got lucky and got on the plane and made it home. And then, I finally got a gig at Grand Central Communications as the chief security architect. And basically I helped them with the security of the overall system from the infrastructure up through the apps. And I was the guy who basically did the SAS 70 audit and wrote up all the control objectives, and then got us through those audits with like Wachovia Bank and couple of other large financial institutions that wanted to use the platform. And that was an interesting platform because it was really kind of early cloud. It was kind of integration as a service. So you could plug into it, and then with kind of like any protocol and any document format, and send in a message. And then we had this SOAP-based router, an enterprise service bus is what they started to call it later on. And we would basically do the data transformation at the edge, bring it in as a SOAP message, and then you could, design your own workflows to basically run it through the system. You could do data transformation, data extraction, all these things, so that two different companies could basically connect really different looking business processes, and then use us in the middle to basically do the sort of translation and integration between those two. So, EDI, XML, over FTP here, and then, SOAP over HTTPS over here. And then, we take care of all of the in-between steps for doing data transformation or extraction or whatever you need to do. It was pretty cool, it was pretty cool. But at that time, it was 2003, 2004. It was pretty hard to sell anybody on like trusting the cloud. I mean, we didn't call it the cloud then, but trusting sort of like a service with your data, at that point in time was very hard to sell. So I remember with like Wachovia, we went into like North Carolina, and I'm at one side of this long table with our product manager, Chris Carpenter, who was an amazing product manager. And the other side of the room was like 20 security people. And we had the people who wanted to grill me about the physical security of the data center, the people who wanted to talk about the network security, the people who wanted to talk about how we did audits, the people who wanted, it was like the entire Wachovia security team against me. You know, we were like a very small business, and they were like, okay, well, where's your control objectives? And I just, boom, you know, there they are. I wrote them all. I didn't steal them from anywhere. I found it out. And then I just basically went and I wrote the entire thing. So I also documented the entire security architecture. I built all the diagrams for the network. Just that I kept throwing me balls, and I'm just like, third base, home run. And I knocked it all down, and we won. We closed that deal. We won that deal. And eventually I wrote the automation that moved us from doing, you know, deployments in 8 hours to doing them in about 15 minutes. So I had intimate knowledge on the ops side and the security side for Grand Central, and you know, basically helped us, you know, win deals.
This is like early 2000s. So you've been sysadmin, you've been in network, you've been in, you know,
Security,
operating system, and you're an
security, data
security.
centers, professional
Yeah,
services.
yeah, EAI, middleware, whatever you want to call it, enterprise
Mm-hmm.
service bus, MuleSoft-like stuff.
Yep.
Which is a perfect timing to kind of get into like this cloud infrastructure business, I guess, because it's an amalgamation of everything that we're talking about here.
That's exactly what happened. Is like, I was at the point where I was like, man, infrastructure is really boring, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. And then the cloud thing comes along, and suddenly, like, it's at the intersection of all these things I had mastered, and that made me really excited. And it was like infrastructure is suddenly sexy again, and so yeah, just kind of reinvigorated everything all over.
Yeah, and